Hello fellow students, my name is Christina Bardine and I would like to welcome you to my podcast and to my channel and to give you a little bit of an idea about what this video is going to be about. This particular video is going to be basically you getting to know me as I take you through my academic journey from when I was in K-12 all the way to me finishing my Master's of Education, and eventually it's going to go into me podcasting my experiences while I go through my PhD program starting this summer of 2022. And I will also be doing different subjects on how to navigate the online education programs in the higher education setting, some tips and tricks to kind of navigate those very difficult subjects, such as teams and how to collaborate remotely. And if there's any other subjects that you would like to hear about or for me to talk about, please feel free to give a like in the video and also comment what you would like me to discuss. And if I have zero experience in that particular subject, I will be more than happy to reach out to my cohort and see if we can find something or find someone who can actually help answer these questions. And believe me, I'm hoping that this will encourage you to not give up when you've fallen, because I've fallen quite a few times. And I've got back up and I overcame, and now I'm finished with my master's and going on for my PhD. So I'm hoping that my words of wisdom will allow you to see that, that it is possible to do what you do. And if you want to continue on with this journey with me, then, I'm willing to continue talking. Also, eventually, I will also like to, be able to, like I said, I want to be able to encourage, and that's the overall goal. And keep in mind, I'm also learning myself, so I'm constantly learning. So you gotta, give me some grace as I'm learning how to do podcasting and stuff like that. So I will eventually get better the more practice I get. So going back, like I said, during my K-12 experience, it was very average. I noticed very early on, even in my own learning, that I noticed that I was very different from everyone else, learning ability-wise, and I kind of suspected that I had ADHD, but I come from an upbringing, or I come from, a time where ADHD was not well known, but it was more like a it's more like you don't acknowledge ADHD or any kind of neurodivergency. So I felt very disadvantaged throughout my K-12 experience. So with that being said, I believe that, if I had been properly diagnosed and treated and all of that, I think I might have done better in school in those early years of my life, and maybe things would have turned out way different. But thinking back on it now, I don't think I'd ever go back and change a single thing, to be perfectly honest with you. There's a few things I would, but not like overall in general. By the time I got into high school, I wanted to go into veterinary school or a vet tech program, and or even work with some kind of agriculture. So my freshman and sophomore year, I took a lot of biology courses and geology, because you deal with a lot of soil. And by the time my sophomore year was about to come to an end, we had students from a vocational school who came, and one of the programs was an animal science program. And I distinctly remember this visit, and they brought a ball python named Sid. And at the time, I was deathly scared of snakes. And to be perfectly honest with you, I was I was terrified to hold him, and they just gave him to me, and I all of a sudden became very comfortable with Sid. It may have been his temperament that helped me, but the student that I saw there, she was like, "Yeah, you should definitely try and come to our program." So I thought about it, and I decided to enroll, and I was accepted in a cohort. Once I got there, over time, I figured out that that was definitely not the career field for me. However, I did do one thing, and that was join the Army JROTC program. And it was mostly solely to fulfill a PE credit that I needed for graduation, and I literally fell in love with it. And so my junior year, I did the color guard and drill team, and then that summer I went to their summer camp, and then the next year, my senior year, that was a really crazy time because that was when 9/11 happened. So that further solidified my decision that I wanted to join the military. And so my senior year, I went into color guard drill team and their physical fitness team to get myself prepared for Air Force basic training. I also enrolled in their DEP program, and that was just your inactive reserve time while you're waiting for your time to go. One of the things that I did not do while in high school that I kind of wish I did do was to take the ACT and the SAT. However, I didn't get a chance to do it, unfortunately. But I did take the ASVAB, which stands for the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery. And that was a really good exam for me to take because it's required for the military. And I'll get into that here in a couple of seconds. So again, I did eventually decide to join the United States Air Force. I enlisted in the delayed entry program. And so when 9/11 happened my senior year, the ship out days were literally months out for quite a few of us. And when I graduated in May and June of 2002, I ended up shipping out like in October. So there was quite a few months in between. And as I mentioned before, I took the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. And typically back then, this would be taken when you go to your MEPS station where they do all your medical clearances and your security clearance paperwork and job selection, all that good stuff. And it typically lasted like 2 days. I don't know if they do anything different than this because this was like 20 years ago. So let me know if you are more recent and you have any experience with that. So I get to basic training in October, and when you go to basic training, you're automatically enrolled in what's called the Community College of the Air Force, or your CCAF. And essentially it's like your 2-year associate's degree in the career field that you're being chosen. And my my job ended up being 4YOX1. That's the dental assistant program. And there you'll get the college credit from basic training, your technical school, which is, when you go to job training, your initial job training, you get college credit for your OJT and your career development courses. And once you complete all of that, then you're free to start taking college courses using your tuition assistance, and you can finish out the rest of your requirements. And so after I finished the CDCs and the OJT, I started taking classes with the University of Phoenix online in 2005. At the time, it was really the only school that was available for my schedule because I had a really weird schedule at that time. And when I initially enrolled, I was really worried that they wanted me to take the ACT and the SAT. And however, I later found out that because I was already enrolled in a what they consider as a 2-year associates, I didn't have to take it. I didn't even have to take the GRE when I went for graduate school, which was interesting to me. And that seems to be the growing trend of taking the ACT and the SAT is becoming less important. But I do encourage you to definitely do take those because that can maybe open up some more doors as far as getting funding for your degree program or other opportunities later down the line. So as I'm taking classes, eventually I came up for promotion, eligibility for promotion, and you actually have to take a test for it. So what I would do is I would take a semester off and study for these promotion tests, and if I make it or if I don't make it, I still take college courses up until the time frame that it takes me to actually study for these tests. Then one of those years I actually ended up deploying. So I took some time off from school and from studying at that time. And then at one point I was selected for what's called Airman Leadership School, which is your professional military education. And that also gives you 9 credit hours towards your CCAF and transferable credit. And then when I finished that, I took the test the next year and I actually made it. Right after I found out that I made it, I ended up deploying again, and that also put me in upgrade training again, which, just like in your initial upgrade training, you do get college credit for that and for the CDCs that you're definitely taking. So after I got back from my deployment, I started to want to take more courses, but I ended up getting thrown on a rotation for the base honor guard, and so because I didn't know what the schedule was going to be, I decided not to take any classes at that point. And so once I completed that, I decided to go ahead and take courses. However, when I was getting ready to start, I suffered my first seizure, and eventually that one seizure turned into the ending of my 10-year career in the United States military.